comb my hair then.
You look lovely,
On my
Cindy.
hair.
So, Phrancko, I had a question.
Yes.
So I've been following you. I
I'm
found you on
looking,
Ravelry.
who's talking? Who's talking?
Sumner.
Oh, Sumner. Hi, Sumner.
So I've been knitting 30 years.
Uh-huh.
I found you on Ravelry, and I was thrilled that you did the master hand knitting day. That was great. But
Oh.
I had already purchased 3 of your different sweaters,
Is that right?
and I am not a big magic loop guy.
Oh,
I've always done Cat Bordy's double circs,
yeah, that works.
right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm definitely doing the knit along next week, because the way that the pattern was written, I found my needles weren't kind of in the right direction.
Oh,
So when you're doing the knit along, I guess the only thing that I would like, for me personally, because I'm going to be there, if we could concentrate on how to manage that magic loop.
okay.
And I purchased the extra long needle for it and everything.
I
So
don't
I
think
can-
they need to be that long, but yes.
Well,
Okay.
it just, after you get to the shoulder at a 46, and then
Uh-huh.
you add the sleeves.
No, wait. At that point, if you use a shorter needle, like a 32
24.
or a 24, you don't have to use any kind of magic. You just
When-
Anything.
do all the stitches around and around and around.
Mhm.
But I've knit the 2 shoulder tabs. I picked up the other side to knit back the other direction,
Yeah,
increased at the neck, starting to go around.
yeah.
I won't swear because now we're being recorded. Like, okay, I'm knitting something else, and I'm gonna go to a forum, look at your blog, try to see, because I watched a video of how you managed your sweater around.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. I just thought I need
Well,
remedial.
wait, let me be clear that you're talking about knitting around the arms and across the chest and around all that, right?
Well,
That part until you get down to the arm, the
when
body.
you were working magic loop, when you start your shoulders to before
I
you
don't.
even
Oh,
really-
when I start the shoulders, I do magic loop just to get around the ends because they're tight.
yeah.
Yeah, so we will definitely look at that. It's just a matter of pulling a loop out so you can knit those stitches. It's really quite.
And I thought it would work better than the Cat 42 circs because it didn't work. So I was just like, okay, whatever.
Do
It's-
you have?
It only
something
seems to be,
shorter? Yes.
I was going to say, it only seems to be kind of hard when you join there at the shoulders for just a few rows around, and then you can just use a smaller magic loop because you can go around.
Yeah.
You actually don't need a magic loop at all. You just put all the stitches on a shorter needle
Mhm.
at that point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I thought that would work, but so I wanted
But
my.
that doesn't work on the sleeves. That works above the armpits and it works the body, but it won't work the sleeves. You have to use some alternative method, either double pointed needles or what you're doing would work or magic loop would work.
Yeah. I wanted, when I had my double points, to meet at the sleeve
I
joint.
see. Yeah,
Where you
we will
go
tackle
either
that
direction.
pretty
And-
quickly.
I was like, well, I'll just do this. Because then you magically have a knit along. And I'm like, oh, look at that. Perfect
Great.
timing.
Well, I'm
Perfect
glad you're
timing.
going to join us, Sumner.
Perfect timing. So thank you.
So that will start next week.
I would like to say hello.
Hello.
Hello, Frank.
Oh, Fatima,
Yeah.
we're old friends. I've never seen you before.
No, I had some trouble to find now, and I explored your website in order to find it because I tried already before, but I could not. It's not very clear, so you need to enter on the jumper itself in the sweater in order to get the link to there. Was a little bit complicated, but I got.
It's also in Ravelry. Are you on the Ravelry group?
I am, but I hate Reverie. I don't know how to do. It's a jungle for me. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, here's it really simple. You know, the website has a link at the top of the page called Forum.
Okay. Okay.
If you click Forum, it will go directly to the right place on Ravelry,
Okay.
where you can see all of my announcements. You can see all the questions people are asking in email. You can,
Okay.
and my answers. I try to check every few days. When I neglect to check for too long, Cindy Dupont over there will
But you know,
he'll send
normally
me an
I
email
go.
and say, hey, have you seen this on Ravelry? You need to respond to this. And I rush over and write a response.
So means that I went totally in the wrong direction, but I went there. No, I went to the place where I bought your sweater
Yes.
a few years ago, and yeah, I went there and I just found it. It's okay. So
And
because I heard this about this last week with Suzanne, so it's why I was looking for. Yeah.
yes, I need to make it more prominent on the website. Right now, it's only, you only see it if you purchase a pattern, and then it's written on your pattern where to go.
Yeah.
But is that what you did, Fatima?
At this moment, I need to concentrate completely in finish the level 3. So I don't want.
Congratulations.
No, I didn't finish yet. So
well, no, congratulations on making it so far. Which
no,
one did I review? Was it your level 1?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Oh, by the way,
it's
everyone,
right.
that's how I know Fatima. I
Yes.
am on the review committee for the TKGA Masters Hand Knitting Program, and I happen to review her work for level 1.
I was very lucky with you. Thank you. Your comments were perfect. And I start the level 3 in last November. And I am in the point just to start to knit the sweater at this moment. I finished all program. I did everything, even the reviews. And tomorrow I go to start to knit the jumper. Hopefully I can finish the Aran sweater quickly.
And which are you doing? The Aran or the Farah?
I don't like so much Faraz. I make the hat, of course.
Yes, that's the choice I made too.
Yes.
For the same reason. I didn't want to do a whole sweater in Farah.
Yes.
A lot of work.
At this moment, I don't want really to disturb so much with other things, because even so, because I want to make this quickly. And meanwhile, I made some other things halfway, but now I really want to concentrate on the Aran sweater, because otherwise, always I try to put aside. But I want to make another sweater with your, because I love it. Of course, I put the wrong measures because my daughter gave me the wrong measures, and I didn't know so much about knitting in that time. So the sweater at the end came well, more or less okay, but was too large for her. Anyway, but I want to do again. But first, I need really to finish the level 3, and then I start to fly with so many other things. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Very good. All right.
Yeah. So I could not understand exactly. So you start a cowl with this
next
sweater?
Saturday at the same time, we will start a cowl, a knit along. And Ron will be leading people through knitting an example sweater, which is a baby sweater, just to make sure you understand all of the techniques in the sweater and how it's constructed and how you work it. And it will be similar to a workshop that I was doing before the pandemic locked us all inside. I was doing weekend workshops and knitting a baby sweater to get people familiar with the process. If you just are comfortable with sweaters anyway, you might not want to just knit a baby sweater. You might want to actually put in your measurements and your gauge and generate an adult sweater. And just most people in the past have just plunged in and done that. But
I like to make smaller size for everything. When I start to knit, more or less I don't need so much sweaters, but what kind of sweaters that I do, that I create myself. Normally I make a small size before I start to make a big one.
I
And
see.
this is,
Well, then
and
this
this
will
is,
be right in your comfort zone. That's what we're doing.
yes, I can show you one, just one. This is one that I did.
Oh, isn't
Oh,
that
that's
cute?
sweet.
Oh, that's just adorable.
And this is because I like museums and I like to visit a lot of exhibitions and so. And this is one of the paintings from 16th century Italian painting that is in the museum in Portugal, in the Calouste Gulbenkian Museum. I don't know if somebody already has been there. And this is the painting itself, and I loved the vest, whatever it was, and I bought the postcard, and I decided to make the minimal, and I make a big one for myself later.
That's so
And,
neat.
yes, it's quite detailed. I'm very proud of this because
Mhm.
it's so normally when I start to do something, I like to make a minimal. So it's why I would like to make a small one, and if I have because the point is that for you is 2:30 or 2:30 in
Yes,
afternoon,
2:30,
right?
yes.
Or for me it's 10:30 like now,
At
so it's
night.
still okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
but it's okay. The point is that sometimes I am also working with Suzanne for the call over that is at 1 o'clock for you, I think. So, and I jumped from her to here. So I will try to concentrate both. We'll see.
Yes, we were meeting at 1 o'clock and we changed it to 2:30 precisely so people could do what you just said. Go
Yeah.
to Suzanne's and then to this one.
Frank,
Because
you-
she wrote me, she was very kind enough to write me and tell me that there were people in her group that wanted to also be in this. So
Yeah.
Frank, you have a
I would
question
like
in the
to-
chat.
Sorry?
I was telling Frank there's a question for him in the
Oh.
chat.
I just answered a question in chat. You mean the one about where will the Zoom meeting be?
Oh,
posted?
yeah. You have-
Okay, the answer to the question was, where will we find the recordings of the Zoom meetings? And the answer is the link will be posted in the forum on Ravelry for Phrancko knitters. You can get there by clicking the forum link at the top of the page of Phrancko.com.
Frank, you may want to check who you replied to because it didn't come through to everyone. At
Oh,
least I
you're
didn't
right.
get it.
I
I do that a lot in Zoom.
You're right. I didn't do it. I'll try it again.
Yes, but thank you for the information.
Candace, I apparently replied to you. I'll
Yes.
read your question next.
Okay.
Yes, that confuses me every time. All right.
There it is. Thank you.
Candace asked a question that some of you might be interested in. She asked if I would be working on a pattern do I plan to use centimeters rather than inches in the future? I considered that briefly a year or so ago and decided that it wasn't worth it. I questioned people in Australia and I think some European countries who said they were used to working in inches because so many American patterns were written in inches. I'm sorry, but you'll have to do all the conversion of measurements yourself. Even the measurements you put in need to be in inches.
Frank, when we get it working on KnitWiz, they can use that too. And they can use metric.
You accept
there.
both? You accept both and print out both? Well, that's, you've done
And
so
that was
much
a lot of
more
work.
detail work than I have.
That was a lot of work.
I know. I just
It's
don't have
appreciated,
the
though.
energy
Thank
to
you.
do that much.
Yeah.
Kathy has done an amazing job on her website. We met at Stitches West
Yeah.
a year ago, And we talked about, she showed me her website. I was so impressed. And so it just came up last week in a meeting, and I wrote her and I said, well, you may have had your ears buzzing because we were talking about you, and a few people were interested. And so,
Yeah.
but we started talking recently about trying to figure out how to collaborate on what we're doing.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Yes.
You know, I want to use this little yarn. I think it's some sock weight yarn, and I guess it's maybe more for Maris, Ron, who's running the Cal next week.
That's Ron. Ron has stepped
Ron.
away though. Here he's
Okay, that's okay. But there he is. So I was wondering if I could go ahead and kind of like start with an algorithm to work on this so I can use whatever gauge I want for the baby sweater.
Well,
because I am making it for a real baby. What I'm going to do is put
Kathy,
some buttons at the top.
it's simple. Just create a sweater using the usual mechanism on the website. Put in the gauge,
Baby measurements.
put in the baby measurements, generate the pattern, and it will be what you want. And it will be a baby sweater using that yarn.
Okay, good.
And,
That's good, because then I can compare with how it would work on KnitWiz.
And as you know, I sent you a coupon code. I can send you
that's right.
whenever you need them. Because we're collaborating, I'll send you as many coupons as you want.
I can't knit that fast.
Is it all right if I mention the swatch that is up?
Oh, please do. That's awesome, Ron. Ron's done an awesome thing. I can't wait to promote it.
It's value added here at Phrancko.com. The pattern itself, if you're like a novice newbie, if you're here like exploring that, or if you, like, we often have friends that we like peer pressure into doing things that they're slightly afraid of. Like if you're a knitter, you know, someone's like, oh, I can't. Well, the patterns, like strictly speaking, are probably intermediate to advanced based on the Craft Yarn Council system. But really it's only like 4, maybe 5 techniques that a novice knitter might not already know how to do. So what I did was, even though like the baby sweater is pretty simple, I wanted to put them all into something yet simpler and lower stakes. So I made a pattern for this little swatch, which has all of the techniques that you're going to need to use in it. Aside from basic decreases, it doesn't have knit 2 togethers or SSKs in it, because I forgot about them. But I figured that counts as basic. But you can download the swatch pattern now. I've put a link to it in the Ravelry forum. Why did I pluralize forum like that? I don't know. In the Ravelry forum.
Maybe you put it in many forums.
Yeah.
No, he made a special subject that is from Ron, and says, here's the technique swatch. I forget exactly what it says, but it's real easy to find. I just saw it.
And there's a little video too. I've been watching that, Ron. That's really good.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough here that one of my like shop monkeys is into filmmaking and is like learning editing software. And so we spend a couple days filming and making B-reel and setting up our recording equipment. And then he goes into that.
It was nice.
And edits and
you could see your hands really well and see it all. It was good.
We took a year-long break from making our podcast videos just because everyone suddenly went online during the pandemic, and I didn't want to contribute to the getting the TVI in the middle of the afternoon. But you can also find it on our website. There's a whole page devoted to Phrancko on our Chops webpage now, and I'll put a link to that in the chat. And there are our knit along related YouTube videos are there. The tutorial swatch is there. And that's what I've got going on. So that was fun, just designing a little pattern. And although really the work that Phrancko.com does for you, just designing the swatch, I forgot, like, okay, there's a lot of techniques in here. I'm writing a lot of explanations for 16 square inches of fabric. And I tried to make it big enough that if you were to knit this in like DK weight yarn or higher, possibly even sport weight if you're doing an open hand, you should have enough rows and stitches to use this as a basis for measuring your gauge. I tried to make sure that the sections were large enough to give you nice big fields of stockinette, so that if you make the technique swatch to practice and the gauge looks okay, if it doesn't send your stockinette crazy because you started paying attention to make ones. But if it looks good to you and you like the fabric, you should be able to use the swatch to take your gauge measurements as well. Because I know some people don't like to make lots of swatches. I make more swatches than anything in my life, but for some people it's like eating a light bulb. You just have to do it.
I don't know, everyone here is probably familiar and didn't have any trouble, but when I initially went to Ravelry and clicked on forums and searched Phrancko, nothing came up. I had to click
Really?
on groups, and then it shows Phrancko Sweater, and then there I can click forum within your group.
I can't tell
So
who's
actually
talking.
groups it's under and not forums.
Who's talking? I can't see anybody.
It's Sue, I'm sorry.
It's who?
Hmm.
Who?
Sue.
Oh, Sue. Oh, Sue, you're talking.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I can't. see
I
you.
did get there, but I just didn't, in case someone is here like me who hadn't been there before, you actually have to go through groups and not forums from the
Well,
Ravelry main page.
What I said is actually the easiest way to do it, and that is to go to Phrancko.com. You don't even have to log in. At the top of the page is a forum link. It says forum. You click
Okay.
there and it takes you to Ravelry in the right place. You're in the forum.
And then we find Ron. Okay.
Yes, and then you
Yeah, I
find
made a
Ron
little
in the
topic
forum.
in
Yes, I found you the long way around.
there. Anywhere you find me, there I am. Like a bad penny.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm
Who's
brand new
talking?
here. I'm coming
Sue,
from Suzanne Bryan's stream. So,
yes,
and I saw you at TKGA and then there last week or the week before.
nice.
And so I know very little, to be honest, about
That's why
how you
we're
do your
here.
sweaters, but I'm intrigued and I'm hoping I can give it a try with this cowl. So I guess I just need to know what I need to have ready and prepared. So just what I would like to use. So if I like to work with a worsted weight US 7 needle, that's what I'm going to bring with me, or are there other things that I
Well,
need to
actually, the cowl is going to knit a baby sweater that is a random sized baby. I made up the measurements, so I don't know if it actually fits any baby. It's just to give you practice doing all the techniques that create the Phrancko sweater.
Okay.
When you want to create one for yourself, and maybe you want to start with that if you're confident, a fairly confident knitter anyway, you would go to the website and generate your own pattern. You put in you have to first knit a gauge using the yarn and needles that you want to knit the sweater from. You take the measurements from your gauge, you take your own measurements, you put all of that into the website, you put your yarn details into the website, and then it spits out a pattern. And my caveat is always check the schematic on the page before you purchase the pattern. Make sure every measurement on the schematic is exactly what you expect it to be, because if it's not, you can change any of those measurements by just clicking the buttons to go back up, and you can change anything you've put in up to that point. But after you purchase the pattern, it's very difficult to change. I can maybe make some changes behind the scene if you write and say, oh, I said I had this chest circumference, but I really have that, or it's just better if you check the measurements in the schematic yourself. So you can then use whatever yarn and needles you want, Sue, and generate a pattern that fits you. And if you want to do the knit along and knit your sweater while we're all knitting a baby sweater, that will be fine.
If you'd like to do the baby sweater itself as written, it calls for a yarn like Cascade 220, a worsted weight on something you get 20 stitches to the inch for, I think is the gauge.
It could be any,
But it doesn't. It's
it
not
could be anything. It just, since that you're not trying to fit it to any particular baby, just grab a skein of your stash, and you don't
Something
even
you
have
like
to know what it
working with.
is. But something that's about DK or worsted would probably look best, but since it's not, you're not trying to fit any particular creature, it doesn't really matter what yarn and needles you use, as long as you like what you're working with.
Okay, and there is a pattern that we will have, or?
Yes, the pattern is actually available now, and it's on the home page of the website. You don't have to log in to get it.
Okay.
You scroll down on the home page and look on the right side, and you'll see a link to sample sweater.
Okay.
If you download the swatch pattern that I've linked to, or the one on Ravelry, there's also a direct link to the Happy Baby sweater in the swatch pattern as well.
Okay, perfect.
This is an FYI.
Did you see that, Sue? I see you're looking on Phrancko.com. That's just go to Phrancko.com.
I'm on the, yeah, I'm on there. Yeah, I see this. Is that the sample pattern?
Sample, yes, sample pattern. That's the baby sweater that we'll all be knitting.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you're interested.
There's the page from Ron, and there's your little link right there to get the sample sweater, as well as to watch the little tutorial for your little thing to learn all your new things.
Great.
Rana, are you around? Can you speak?
Yes, hello.
Hi, I know you asked a question about the page number in that book, but I never got an email from you, so I couldn't reply to an email, but I did post the answer in the Ravelry forum. Did you see it?
No, I haven't, but thank you so much. I've thought about that ever since I asked the question last week.
Well, I'm glad I remembered it was you, and I'm glad to see you. It's page 210.
Thank you.
And it's page 210 in the Principles of Knitting, and the name she gives it is Slip Raised Increase. Slipped Raised Increase.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I found it this is Rana again. I found it a little bit difficult to get in. And if you noticed, I was in twice today.
Oh, in where?
This forum right now. I mean, this
Oh,
Zoom.
in this Zoom meeting?
Right.
No, I didn't notice.
Okay. Yeah, I dropped out of one, but hopefully it will be easier to get in. I think I finally got it now.
Okay.
Having to go to the forum is a little bit different way of getting in.
Yes, I'm going to make the link more prominent, since this, when I started doing these meetings, I didn't know if they would last, because we were getting 1 or 2 people a week, and then 2 of you became real regulars. I haven't heard from Mary today. Mary?
She's there.
There you are.
I'm
Hi.
here.
And she's
Hello.
actually knitting. I've been watching her.
But not on the sweater.
Oh, no.
Oh, Mary.
I stopped and did the swatches for boot camp.
Oh, well, that was important too. So you can
Right.
get back to
And
the sweater when you want to.
I'll probably be back to the sweater tomorrow.
All right. So
You all keep prodding.
Mary and Cindy and I have been meeting for weeks without anybody else being there. And then every now and then somebody else would drop in. And then last week, Suzanne let me give the presentation in her group to about 140 people, I think she said were there. and a bunch of you came over from there. So I hope we'll continue to have a lively meeting like this, and it's really wonderful to see you all.
Hang in there. I think it'll grow.
Yeah.
I posted in chat because I have a question. I do
Oh.
not know how to do magic loop. I don't really want to learn a new skill, but if we need to use magic loop for the pattern, Ron, will you do a little magic loop video for us?
There's only one place, and that's at the shoulders, that I say pull out a magic loop, but that's just a simple technique to get around the start of the shoulders. And it's not really learning a new technique. It's just helping you knit this tight area that's real tight right across the shoulder.
And there are a few ways to get through that area as well.
Yeah,
So I've got a
Ron
few
probably
things
will
to
offer
show you.
suggestions.
I'm a DPN guy. I use
So am I. I'm a
DPN for-
DPM girl. Yeah.
Okay.
And so there are a few things you can do with those corners, including just pulling a loop out and going. Calling it magic loop, I think, is flattering to it, right?
Yeah.
You're just pulling some length out so you can get around.
Yes.
We'll take a look, because I've knit 4 of these in a short amount of time, and I've done something slightly different at each point with each of them, just so I can throw out options. I know from teaching knitting classes, a lot of people have, some things aren't comfortable for them to do, just like the motion of this isn't comfortable. And if you watch the swatch video, I mentioned some of those. So I've got some options for things like doing that tight round where you pick up, things to do for casting on under the sleeve, options for the invisible bind off. Some people find that gesture where you bring the needle around. I was teaching a brioche class, and I had a student who had an arthritic wrist, and she just had a hard time making that gesture. And you can just slip them on 2 needles and do a Kitchener stitch. Like, it's easy to do. And I learned from my dad from an early age that, like, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Like, there's always a way to make it easy on yourself. So
yes, and certainly the sleeve can be done on double pointed needles, like any sleeve. I've never tried. I haven't ever worked with double pointed needles in my life. Of course, my knitting life is not that long, but I still haven't done it. I don't have any desire to do it. And so, because I just use magic loop all the time. So I recommend it only because I use that. And I don't know another way to get around the tight shoulder other than to pull out a loop of the cable. And that's what magic loop is, pulling out a loop of the cable.
Right. I just learned how to do the 2 circulars, the cat boarding. So
that would work just as well. But
I just learned
necessary for 2. This is only necessary for probably 2 rounds after you close this knit across the shoulder.
Oh, perfect. Ronnie's open now, so I can always drive to Bakersfield to make him help me.
Oh, good.
It's true. Speaking of being open now, I'm gonna leave you guys. I'm gonna get back to the work of running a yarn shop. But this counts as work right now. We're getting ready to host a knit along, so this is important business.
Sure. And by the way, we keep this meeting held to an hour so that people don't have to worry about having to stay longer than they planned. And so we've got about 10 more minutes.
Frank,
Summer, you held up something. What did you have in mind?
Oh, these are my cat boardy double circ. I'm knitting a beginning of a sleeve. This is a linen sweater from I can't even think of the name right now. This farm in Virginia, Sestari.
Oh.
I've just been so impressed with the quality of their work. And you know where the sheep come from, and they actually have a consortium of cotton growers. So it's U.S. based cotton, and it's U.S. linen.
How about putting that name into the chat so we can
oh, sure. And Mr. Sestari's story is remarkable. And I'm making one of your sweaters with his merino. And I think he's just as simple as sestariyarns.com.
Okay.
But I've been doing Kat Bordy since she came out with her first sock book in like the 90s. And it was
Chili.
so sad to hear that she wasn't doing well. And boy, I just love Kat Bordy. I can't appreciate her enough. What a great kind of mentor of mine for knitting.
Oh,
Have you ever met her in person, Summer?
No, I'm in Massachusetts.
I was lucky. I was lucky enough to go a few years ago. I was sick, and when I got well, I said, "All right, I'm traveling." And my sister and I went on an Alaskan cruise, and she was one of the teachers.
Oh, no way.
And not only was she a really talented knitter, but she was a very nice person too.
Yeah, you can see that just with,
Yeah.
just all of her pictures. And what a wonderful woman. But yeah, I've probably knit 30 or 40 pairs of socks using her method.
Yeah.
I've taught her method to a class, and yeah, anyway.
I like the
I'm
wave.
knitting
I did the
heroes.
wave shawl thing, and I really liked.
Yeah, her and Zimmerman are kind of my heroes. So,
Yeah.
of course, who isn't, doesn't know a Zimmerman, right? You kidding?
Right.
yeah.
Anyway.
Just so you know, I looked up Cesari, and it's cesarisheep.com, not Cestari.
Oh, okay. He even sells his sheep.
What?
Like he sells his sheep.
Oh, he does. Wow.
Yeah. He is a sheep to yarn mill. Brilliant. And sheep products like shearling gloves. Really, really cool. Very impressed with probably one of the only new mills this decade in the United States. So nice to know where your wool comes from.
Yeah.
And in this case, cotton linen.
After we complete the KAL with Ron, maybe a little bit later, Suzanne wants to do a KAL with me on the same subject. So we'll be doing these repeatedly, first with Ron and later with Suzanne Bryan, who is one of my favorite, if not the favorite teacher on internet. And she just has the most complete set of videos. I think it's Knitting with Suzanne might be her video channel. Suzanne Bryan is her name. Go to youtube.com and look up Suzanne Bryan, not Bryant, but Bryan, B-R-Y-A-N. And you'll find her videos. Not only does she have a video on every single technique you can think of, her videos are excellent. They're well photographed and videoed, and she is just a great teacher. She explains things extremely well.
Yes, I'm a boot camp graduate.
Yes, I think we have several of those and are people in boot camp right now.
Yeah, that's why
Yes.
I'm finally wanting to try one of your sweaters. I remember you with her the first time around talking about your patterns, and I've signed up way back then, but I just never had the confidence. I had the skill level. Now, but I am kind of I don't want to work too hard up here sometimes. I'm retired, and I just sometimes want somebody to hold my hand and take me on the journey.
All right.
It's easier sometimes.
That's what we're going to do, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I have been very lucky to cross with Suzanne on the internet some years ago. And it's why I went to TKJA, because I watched an interview with her, with Arenda, 2 years ago, and I jumped in TKJA in that time. And I follow also the boot camp of her, and yeah, I grown up in terms of knitting since we met a long time ago. Yeah. And,
yes, Fatima and I often run into each other watching Suzanne's live events, and we'll chat back and forth a bit.
Yeah.
So
And I saw your participation now in the TKJA 3 weeks
yeah.
ago. I was in your session as well, so it was interesting to
Thank you.
see. There was yeah. So and next week is
But this
another
is the first
session.
time I've had the opportunity of actually seeing you. Every other thing has been through typing or
Yeah.
texting or whatever. So I finally get to see what you look like and see what a lovely person you are.
Thank you. I will be next year to make small swatch is my dream all the time. So I will join because it's a small project. I already was looking a little bit. I will be okay. So it's 3 sessions, one after. It's a full Saturday for me because this is 11:30 at night. So, but it's okay.
Oh, that's
And I started 5 o'clock with Suzanne, and it's at 9 o'clock with Suzanne, and now, so it's since we are locked down, it's okay. If we start to go out, probably I cannot join so much anymore because my husband is dreaming to go on the tour, but we are better now in Portugal, the situation, but we are still yes, things are
You're the
going.
best, girl. You're the best, and you know it. You are so sweet. We love you.
Come on, Luan. Yeah, me too. I love you.
I
And there's
know.
another lady there hidden, but I like very much her. Yeah,
Yes.
it's very nice. Suzanne has a very nice group, in fact. Yeah, we make a lot of fun. And
Gonna go to Portugal and buy yarn to make a Phrancko sweater.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yes, we cannot
In the
make
last
this.
couple of minutes we have, does anybody have a pressing question about the pattern or any problem they're having?
Yeah, I want to ask exactly because I was looking now the template for to make a swatch, and in fact is a little bit like the big swatch that we do with your pattern when you buy. It's something similar, right? I just look a little bit, but
At Ron Swatch?
Yeah.
Ron Swatch is totally new. When I say knit a swatch, I just mean a square swatch. That's, you know, how Suzanne describes. Just knit a square swatch and take your measurements from it. Ron Swatch is to help you know that you can do everything you're going to be required to do in the pattern and to show you how to do all the different techniques. And he says it probably would be big enough to do your measurements from too. So, but that's brand new to me. I don't know anything about it. Ron created that.
I sent you a link, Fatima.
Okay,
I sent you a link.
Thank you, Luan. So I will have a look. Yeah. Okay. Next Saturday I will be here with the needles and some yarn.
All right.
Yeah. Hopefully
Anybody
more
else
people.
have a question? Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Nice to see you.
Thank you all.
See you next week.
Thanks, Frank.
Look forward to
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
all.
Mary.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.